Hi everyone, it's Loan. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to probably the most exciting video that I do every single year, my full K-pop collection and binder flip through. So my collection has actually grown quite a lot since I last did one of these, which was exactly a year ago. I now have, I think, 11 binders to get through, which is going to be a lot, but I think I'm going to start off first with my biggest collections, or at least the ones that are in the biggest binders, and then move down to the smaller ones. So this is going to be at the start, this is going to be near the end. So as I said, let's start off with Stray Kids. So here we are with my first Stray Kids binder. Yes, we have finally got to the stage where I've had to buy a second Stray Kids binder. Like, this one's pretty thick, you can see how like big these rings are, but I've had to split it up. So this binder goes all the way to 8 era, and then the other binder is Hop era onwards and merchandise. So now that I've said that, you're probably wondering, why on earth is there a merch card set in the front of my album card binder? It's just because I thought it was pretty and I wanted it to go at the front of the binder. So that's what's happening. This is, I think, the 2023 or 4 Christmas like merch card set. I don't know which one it was, I'll be honest with you. But it's a really cute set of Christmas themed cards. And then we move on to the proper album cards. So for the first few eras up until about No Easy, I collect Lino and Jisung, as you can see here. And then from Christmas Evil onwards, I also collect Jongin. So on this page we have Mixtape and I Am Not era, so pre-debut and debut. And there were only 2 cards per album per member in these eras, so I've just combined them into one page. So we have Mixtape cards and I Am Not cards with the little childhood ones here. They are so cute. And then a random I Am You unit in the middle because there was space, so I put something there. I need to get an I Am Not unit to go there. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Anyway, next we move on to I Am Who, which I think is always going to be one of my favourite members. I love the yellow. Yellow's my favourite colour. But in general, I think it's a song with some amazing... I was going to say it's a song with some amazing albums. No, it's an album with some amazing songs. So there's Jisung and here's Lino. And then on to I Am You. I'm so nearly done with I Am You era. I just need this last Lino. But for some reason this era is really annoying to get cards from. Basically, it was just... you pull like one out of an insane number of cards in each album, so they're kind of expensive. Anyway, nearly done. And then on to Miro, which is my favourite Stray Kids era. It's the song that like really got me into them. Miro and Hellevator were what made me go, oh yeah. So yeah, there is Miro. I love the like red colour scheme they went for. And then Yellowwood. Oh my god, Side Effects is so underrated. Side Effects is a banger and I'm so sad they didn't perform it when I went to see that concert. Like, give me Side Effects. I want to feel like I'm being hit over the head with the music. I love that song. And then on to Levanta, which is the song that made me like... this came out and I was like, yup, proper standing these guys. I know it was a difficult time for them, but for me it was like, yes, this is exactly what I want. So here we go. And then on to Go Live, which I had obviously found them around Levanta era. Go Live was my first comeback. I think it was the first time I ever pre-ordered a K-pop album. I think it might have been. So yeah, there's a fun fact for you. Or it might have been a BTS one? I don't know. It was definitely one of the first albums I ever pre-ordered. So here is all of Jisung's. I'm so glad I finished this. I even have his limited card. You've probably noticed I don't have any of the limiteds for these eras. That's just because I didn't start collecting until quite a few years after I started standing, and so they were just already expensive by that point and I could not be bothered. And then on to Lino, just need one more of his cards. And then In Life, which I think is probably their prettiest album and their best musically. I'm gonna say it. It has the best songs of all of them, even though half of them are also from Go Live, but whatever. I love this album so much. I remember sitting listening to Backdoor in the back of my science lesson in school because it had come out like in the middle of the lesson and I was just so excited. So I finished it there. I am planning to collect Jongin for that eventually because I love it so much, but it can be a bit expensive. I think it's better these days than it used to be though. And then this page we have random stuff. So I have 4 of the like group cards from Go Live, simply because I just had them and wanted to fill some space. And then I have 4 of the units from In Life. I need to get a 5th one to fill this hole, but yeah, I'm just picking them up whenever I see them. And then on to No Easy, which is where I start collecting Jongin. As we can see, I love how a 3-member spread looks. I think it is so pretty, especially with like the jewel cases and stuff. And I actually love these like little border cards. I think not many people do, but they kind of brought back something similar for Do It era, which I'm so excited about. And then this OT8 set that you got in the limited album. I love when they used to do that. They kind of do a similar thing with like Nemo's these days, but I really liked that. And then here we have Christmas Evil, which is so pretty. I love this era. I'm still annoyed that I don't have this Jongin yet. I kind of would prefer to trade for it, but I only ever see it for sale. So if anyone wants to trade anything for it, or I'll even buy it at this point, let me know. I love these glittery ones in the middle. You can't really see it on camera, that's annoying, but trust me, they're glittery and they're very pretty. And then here we have the OT8 set that you got if you pre-ordered the album. And next onto Ordinary, which is the era where I started properly collecting them. So I had to back collect all of this, but this is where I started actively collecting as the era was happening. So here are all of the normal album cards. And then these are like technically the same as these. However, if you look on the back, these ones are misprinted. Yeah, a ton of these cards got misprinted during Ordinary, and I wanted something to fill this bottom space, and I thought, well, the misprints are like really cheap, and it's kind of cool to have like a misprinted card, so got them. And then we have units. I love this Minsung unit so much, and also this G-Lex. These units were so good, and this pink hair, to die for. So I didn't collect all of them, I just collected enough to fill 2 pages. And then we move on to Madein. First of all, I have these like stickers that you got in the albums. They were pretty easy to collect OT8, so I decided to just do that. And then here are the cards. I think I've probably put this in my thumbnail because I love this page so much. Like it's an era from a little bit ago, which feels weird to say because what do you mean it's 2026? But anyway, here's this page with Dandelion card in the middle. Love that card. And then, oh, the pink. The pink! I love having it open like this because it's just so pretty. I think this was my thumbnail for this video that I did last year. Madein is just a gorgeous era. I loved it. And then we have a bit of a mixed page. So up here we have these, which I'm pretty sure are the Apple Music Madein Pobs because it's in one of my favourite concepts ever. Jisung's got like a painted nail. I loved it so much. I don't normally collect Pobs. At least I didn't at this point, and I just had to have them. And then here we have 2 5-star sets. So I just kind of merged them so that they would fit nicely on the page. Love the backs of these. And then we move properly into 5-star. And here, my friend had a load of leftover cards of other members. So I just took 9 and made a page of it. I collected all Seungmin and Changbin because who the hell wouldn't? I love Seungmin and Changbin. And then we move on to, hang on, what the hell is this era called? I always call it Rock, but I think it's Rock Star. And then the song's called La 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 La. So I think it's Rockstar. Yeah, whatever. Here is Rockstar. I think it's a really, really pretty era. And I love the song, like the title track in this. I think this is one of the strongest albums they've ever made musically. It's really, really good. And also very pretty. Here we go. I love this purple colour in the background of these, always have done. And then here comes the OT8 set, starting with the Nemo versions that they did. And the OT8 Polaroid pre-order set that you got, along with a little, this is a random thing you got in the platform. And then here I just put the units I got, as well as this random Jongin Pob that I got from somewhere, and the lyrics cards that you got in the Nemo. I put my favourite songs on the front, so like Social Path, Cover Me, Blind Spot, yeah, those are my favourites off the album. Then we have some Pobs, which are actually a mixture of 5-star and Rockstar, simply because I didn't have room to put them anywhere else. So all of these are Rock except for these 2. These are both 5-star Target cards, which I'm so happy to have. These are also Target cards. Shout out to my friend in the USA who got these for me. I would have never been able to get them on my own, and you are literally the best. Thank you so much. And then the coveted Skizoo Pob, and I meant to have Lino's as well, however, I'm not gonna lie, the proxy scammed us. So I'm gonna have to try rebuy it somewhere. I always am like, oh, maybe it'll come, and then it never does, so I need to rebuy that. And then we move on to 8. This is where we start getting to a point where I had a bit of an issue with group order managers, so basically, as you can see, there's a bit missing, but I still have a few. My main group order managers started to get like really ill, and so they weren't able to send stuff out very fast. Now this is being sorted now, a lot more stuff is being organized nowadays. They've got like helpers, but it means for 8 and hop era I am missing quite a few cards. However, I still think I've done pretty well. Like, look at these gorgeous holo cards. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but they're so pretty. So yeah, that's what I have for 8 so far, and then you get like sets in the Nemos, and I will get those as soon as I get the Nemo albums given to me. Because like this looks like a lot is missing, however it's literally just my pulls from 2 albums. And then I had this random Sungmin pop that I got, which I'm not complaining about, and some stickers that came in the, I think it was the Nemos. So yeah, that is all for this binder. I absolutely love flipping through the older eras and stuff. It gives me such like nostalgia and love for them, because I have been a stan since this era. So like all of this of the binder plus my second binder. So it's so nice to see like how far they've come and stuff. Anyway, let's now move on to their second binder. So here is my new second binder. I actually got this binder for Christmas, so I'm very excited. I've never shown it on my channel before. We have quite a bit of room for expansion. Less than I thought there would be, but there is still some room, so that's okay. So here we start off with hop era. So I do have some cards for this. This first page actually looks pretty great. This is because I started using multiple group order managers to, you know, like if one of them has a hard time, I have a backup with some other cards. So that's what I have so far. I have all of my Nemo stuff and all of the accordions, and then some of the other bits. And then a couple of pobs, you know, all great stuff. So that's what I have for hop so far. I did just get like a claim check for my limited album stuff, so hopefully that comes soon. And I love these little stickers that they did this era. They are so freaking cute. I love them. And then we move on to the Karma era, which, ignore this first page, don't have that yet, but I actually have a lot of Karma stuff. First of all, I have some in this binder obviously, but I have a lot of stuff on hand with me or on the way very, very soon, so that's so exciting. Here's my first full page for Karma. There we go. I'm actually a lot further along with it than you would think looking at this. Anyway, now we move on to their latest era, which obviously I have nothing for, as they haven't, like, most of them haven't even shipped to the UK yet because of Christmas disrupting everything. But here's my setup for Do It. I don't think I've even shown this on my channel yet. Oh, there's a hole in the middle. Clearly I need to do some sorting out before I can start storing photocards for this era. But that is what I've got so far. And then we move on to merch, which is a lot more complete. So first of all, we start off with my season's greetings. So here we have 2021, 2022, and 2023. Then we move on to 2024, which starts on this page. It's like invaded 2023. And then the rest of 2024, I loved this concept. It was so like dreamy. And then on to 2025, which is when I started hosting group orders for season's greetings myself, and I'm honestly having a really good time doing it. I'm literally right next to me as we're speaking. I have a massive box full of the 2026 season's greetings stuff, so I'm so excited to start like storing that. That's gonna go here. I literally have it next to me. I could store it right now, but I'm not gonna. You're gonna have to wait until my February YouTube video. God, it always annoys me so much how the white isn't in the middle here, but what can you do? Anyway, let's move on to fan kit stuff. So for a couple of years I collected OTA for fan kits. I would just like buy myself the fan kit, and then I realized that I don't care enough to keep doing that, so I don't do it anymore. But I do love the concept of this. Nowadays I just collect like my top 2 members. Oh, the main reason I bought this one actually is because of the Stray Kids replay that you got in it. I love Stray Kids replay. That's probably my favorite Stray Kids album. And it's not even a normal album, it's like mostly solos, but I freaking love that album. Stars and Raindrops is their best song, even if it is a Sungmin solo. Anyway, got a bit sidetracked there. This is the 3rd generation fan kit, and this here is the 4th generation. I think I preferred the concept of this one, but this one is so fun. It's all like colourful and stuff. And this time they did units for it, which was pretty nice. And then on to 5th gen, this is where I just started collecting my top 3 members rather than all of them because, you know, it's just a bit expensive. And also, even the membership benefits from this, they didn't work for me. I never managed to log on to the fans app despite the fact that I had bought the membership. Yes, it was within the year that it was valid and stuff. Literally, it refused to verify my phone number or email. I couldn't log on at all ever, so that was great. Anyway, here is the 5th gen, and then 6th gen hasn't been announced yet, I don't think, but I will be collecting my top 3 again. Hopefully they do it through fans app this time rather than, is it Yes24 they normally use? I don't know, but it's awful. I hate it so much, so hopefully they use a different one this year. Anyway, here is some random concert merch that I have from the Maniac tour. It's just so cool looking. I love the like bright green. And then here is some miscellaneous Japanese cards. So most of this is from Social Path era. And then we have some random stuff from, I think that's Maniac tour. And this is from Circus. Just, you know, little things I've picked up throughout the years. Quite a lot of it is Social Path because that is my favourite Japanese era they've ever done. It's one of my favourite songs of theirs. And then on to fan meeting merch. So this is from the Magic School fan meet. And it was just so pretty. I loved the like purple colour scheme and the magic and stuff. And Jisung's little like squirrel hamster thing he's got on his shoulder. It was so cute. So I collected quite a bit for it. And this is where we get to just random miscellaneous merch. So these are from like random pop-up store sets, and then this in the middle I think is from the Maniac Tour DVD or Blu-ray, one of the two. And then this is from their latest fan meeting called 5 o'clock. It was such like a cute, fluffy, pretty vibe. It was so nice. So I collected a few from that. So annoying again how this colour isn't here, but that's life. And then this is from another fan meeting, which I think was before them, called Pilot. And I got a few from it because it was really cute. And then these are also from 5 o'clock. They just didn't fit on this page. And so whenever we have another fan meeting, I'll put some here to fill this page. Next, this is truly miscellaneous. These are all just from like random merch drops. Like these are from Nacific when they used to do a lot of stuff with Stray Kids. That's from I Am Who. It's just a random Jongin card that I have for fun. And then we have some Polaroids from the Skiz Victory pop-up shop. I think that's what it was called. And then these from Skiz Chocolate Factory, which, was it a fan meet or a merch drop? Can't really remember, but it was cute. So here we have another just random page of stuff. I'll try point out what I remember of what these are, but I've honestly forgotten some of them. So this is from a Maha Grid merch drop. This is from the Green Project, as well as this, which was like a thing JYP did. This is a random Christmas Evil pop that I got. These are from the fan kit before the ones that I collected back there. I only have Jongins, just, I don't really know why, to be honest. And then this is a random Lino card. I literally have no idea where this is from. Zero idea. And then down here we have one more Nacific card, the Green Project as I said earlier, and then this really, really cute Go Live photo card of his, which I pulled it and I just couldn't trade it because it was so cute. So yeah, and then here's some random IDs, which I never know what to do with IDs. So most of them are in random places, but there's some back here. So yeah, that is all for my Stray Kids collection. She's big. I am so proud of how much my collection has grown in the past few years, and I really love like the way I set it up and stuff. I think it's just so pretty. Wow, I just undid all my work of closing that. Anyway, it's definitely my favourite collection. They will always be my alt group, and I'm so excited to see how much it's going to grow in time for next year. Okay, so now let's move on to my next biggest collection, who have also just had to be separated into 2 binders, kep1er. So here we are, starting off with my kep1er album cards. So for most eras I collect Youngin, and for a few random ones throughout I collect Hikaru. Basically just if I thought it was really pretty, I also collected her cards. And then more recently, since I don't know what era it was, maybe Tippy Tap, I don't know, I've been collecting both of them. So first of all we have First Impact, which is all of her album cards, and then I think there's 3 pobs on here, just collected Youngin for that. And then we have Doublast, which I have all of Youngin's. I love this era, it's one of my favourites of theirs, it's just so pretty. And then I also collected all of Hikaru's because she looks so good with this like hair colour this era. I really loved her in this era. And then we have some miscellaneous. Some of these are like merch drop cards, and some of them are just like the clear cards you get in the album. But yeah, this is my miscellaneous doublage page. Then we move on to Troubleshooter. I forgot to mention only my Korean album collection is in here. I have moved my Japanese one. So next Korean album is Troubleshooter. I just collected Young'un for this one. I think this page is so cute. It's once again all the album cards with a couple of pobs. I absolutely love like this pop here. It's one of my favorites that I own. I don't know why, I just really love it. And then I collected OT9 IDs for this era. Still need Dions. I think I have a spare like Hikaru if someone wants to trade. Just need Dions. I did buy it off someone. I got scammed. Who the hell scams someone for an ID? I don't know. Anyway. And then these circle cards. I need to collect the last Hikaru and the last Yujin. But I'm pretty much done. I only collected like a few members. I just collected the ones I had the most of. And then we move on to Love Struck. Also a very pretty era. So we have all of the normal album cards here, and then here we have a mixture of like platform and digipack cards. So I think these are platform, these are digipack, and then these are all pobs. And then I collected a few of Hikaru's cards. So I just collected all of her like normal standard album cards. So, and all I need is one more Love Strike card to have finished hers. And then here is the OT9 set from the platform version. So yeah, they did an OT9 set of concept cards. And here is the like, I think it's a QR card, yeah, that you get in the platform version. And you also got these message cards in the main album, so I just collected a few of those on this page. Next we move on to Magic Hour, which I'm still missing a few from because I got scammed by that same person. It's been like 2 years now, guys. Come on, can you not just ship me my stuff? Anyway, I think I'm gonna try rebuy these because I'm just fed up at this point. But that is what's going on here. I'm pretty much done, but annoyingly Magic Hour is like really hard to buy. Not sure why. And then I'm pretty sure most of this is like platform stuff. I don't think there were digipacks for Magic Hour era. I don't know, but these are other like random album cards. Oh, there was a unit version. That's what's going on here. These are from the tape unit version. So half the group was in one unit and half was in the other. And I collected Young'uns. And then on this page we have Hikaru's from the other unit down here. And then we have some random pobs, and I think that's a Hikaru platform card. And then with Magic Hour, they basically gave you a OT9 pre-order benefit set if you pre-ordered the normal album versions. So there's 3 of those. First of all, we have Sunkissed. I think these are the right versions. I haven't said this in a while. Moonlighted and Beloved. And then here you also got a OT9 set if you pre-ordered both of the unit version albums. So that is a mixture here. Kind of annoying because the colours are all like mixed up and the words don't match up because they're from different units, but I still think it looks really cute. Then we have a Japanese page which isn't meant to be in here, so just pretend you didn't see that. I'll go put it in my other binder. Anyways, then we move on to kep1er Going On. So I actually was wrong, I collected Hikaru for kep1er Going On as well. This isn't all of her cards, I think it's just the photo book versions and the limited voyage version. So that's what I have for her. And then for, look at that back. Look at the colours on the back. Oh my god, they look so nice together. And then onto Young'un, it's the same thing as Hikaru's. And on this page, we have the PLVE version cards here and here. I'm still looking for this last one. If anyone has it, it's the one where she's like pointing at her cheek. I need it so badly. And then this row of pre-order benefits. I think they're Make Star? Not sure. Oh, no, they're Soundwave. Okay, but they're so cool with their little Pringle beaks. And then I collected some of the like Polaroids you get in the PLVE versions. I never really tried that hard to collect them, I'll be honest. I just collected whatever random ones I could get because they were like, it was something ridiculous, like you got 1 out of 20 or something in the albums. It was so stupid. I think it was worse than that. I don't know. Anyway, I do need Hikaru's clear limited card to go in the middle here just to finish everything off, but I am still looking for that. And then we have more pre-order benefits. Well, first of all, these 2 are actually PLVE album cards. However, the rest of them are pobs. I know that these 2 are Apple Music, but I'm not completely sure about the rest. I'm pretty sure they might be Yes24 and Make Star, but not sure. Anyway, this is one of my favourite cards, like ever. These 2, they're so nice. Okay, and now on to Tippy Tap. So we start off on kind of a weird page. These are pobs. I know, bit random, and these are album cards, but I just thought they looked really pretty on this page together, so that's where they go. Oh yeah, usually if I collect 3 pobs, which I do sometimes to like make it look cohesive, I will either collect here or Dion. And so last era, like over here, I collected here. But over here I collected Dion because she was left in the group order. Oh, look at that back. Oh yeah, all of those pobs were Make Star. And then here we have the other album cards, as well as the unit card that came from the US exclusive signed jewel cases. Still don't get why they made them US exclusive and why they made all of them signed, but I managed to get my hands on them eventually. And then over here we have the PLVE cards. These are the normal cards, and these are called scratch cards because they have a bit you can scratch off on the back. I still haven't done that yet. And then we have a little group card in the middle. And then here we actually have the normal photo cards from the US exclusive digipacks. And then we have some more, I think, still Make Star pobs and some other Apple Music pobs up here. And then finally for Tippy Tap, yep, this is the last page of it, we have these other cards from the PLVE. They really give us everything in there. And they are called art cards, where they're basically just like really cool and artsy concept cards. So yeah, I just got a few random ones for that. That is all of Tippy Tap. Now on to their latest era, Bubblegum, which I collected Hikaru for this era because Young'un was unfortunately on hiatus during it. So it's just Hikaru. And I'm actually pretty much done with this album. I think I have this one. I'm just looking for 2 cards. So on this page, it's this photo book version card. Everything else is here. I really love like this outfit that she's in. I think this is a really pretty looking page. These are all of her like main album cards, and also from the like keyring and the kit version. There were quite a few weird versions. And then on this page we have a mixture of IDs that came in, I think it's the keyring version, and these pre-order benefits that I got for her. So I just also need Hikaru's ID card. Ironic that I managed to get all the other members before my bias, but that's how it works sometimes. But yeah, I thought this was really cute. And I love Bubblegum era. I love how like bright and pretty it is. I love how they really went all in on like the concept. So that is all of my Kep1er Korean album cards for now. I'm sure at some point we'll have another comeback. But honestly, the group has already lasted longer than I thought it would. So I'm very happy to have collected what I have done. Right, now let's go on to Japanese cards and merch. Here is that binder. It's also got a couple of other groups in it, but we start off with Kep1er's first ever Japanese album, which is Fly Up. So for this, I just collected all of Young'un's cards, plus a couple of random pre-order benefits from, I think, Tower Records. They're like really cheap, so I always just collect a couple for different members. Then we go on to probably my favourite of their Japanese albums. We go on to Fly By. It is just so pretty with like these pink colours and stuff. So those are all Young'un's cards, and then once again 2 Tower Records cards, which I did actually get Hikaru this time, which is really nice. Look at those backs! God, I love that album. It's got some really good songs too, like Together Forever, amazing. Next we have Fly High, which bit of a stark contrasting concept with this card here, but the rest of them, they go so nicely together, really pretty. Once again, all the album cards and 2 extra Tower Records pobs. And so after this, we now go on to the era where they stopped doing this same like template of this many album cards and like these pobs. We moved on to Kep1er Going, which is confusing because they also have a Korean album called Kep1er Going On, but that's Wakeone's choice, not mine. So this is the era where I started to collect more Hikaru. Here I have, I think, most of Young'un's album cards. There's actually 2 that I don't have from the limited B version, simply because for some reason that version is like hellishly expensive and I just refuse to spend that money on it. So yeah, anyways, I got what I could, and then we have some more Tower Records pobs as usual. And on this page, this is like a kind of merch card that was also kind of from the album. Don't know really how to explain that. And then here we have some of Hikaru's album cards, just the cheaper ones because I thought it would look nice to fill up the page. And then we have these 2 like 4-cut sticker things that you got in one of the album versions, and these 2 other pobs which are probably from like Sony or something, not sure. Then we go on to Kep1er Against the World, which was the era of bright hair colours for my biases. So here I basically just collected enough album cards and pre-order benefits to fill a 9 pocket for each of my members. So here are all of Young'uns. If you want to know exactly what they all are, go watch the video where I stored them. There's probably one of these cards in the thumbnail so you can see which one that was in. So that is Young'un with her gorgeous cherry red hair. And then we move on to Hikaru, who, God, did she suit this era. She looks so good with this blue hair. Like, there were 2 variations of the blue, like these 2 are, that's green. But I really loved it overall. It was so good and it suited her so well. Also, Yum was an absolute banger of a song. Okay, now we're finished with the Japanese cards. We can move on to merchandise. Honestly, my kep1er merch, most of it is set up just pretty randomly. It's just stuff that I get sometimes. Oh my god, you are like falling out of the sleeve, hang on. So up at the top here, we have stuff from like a photo shoot they did in London called Dazzling Girls in London. And I love ID cards, so I collected Young'un's, and then I collected Young'un and Hikaru's cards for it. I kind of felt like I had to collect it considering it was in London, and you know, I'm British, even though I'm definitely not from London, literally from Yorkshire. But yeah, that's what I got. And then here we have these, is it S2ND or SN2D? I don't know, but it's this like merch drop they did when around debut era. These cards are so thick, they don't stay in the sleeves properly. But yeah, I just collected my bias line. And then down here is some random stuff. This is a Troubleshooter M-Wave pop, I think. Like signed album, because I have a signed album from Troubleshooter era. And then here are 2 cards from one issue of the Star magazine that they were in. They're in it quite often, but I've only ever collected like 1. Here is quite a bit of merch from their first ever fan meeting, as well as season's greetings. So here is the light stick card. I think all of these are season's greetings, their first ever season's greetings. And here is stuff from their first fan meeting. The colour schemes all worked really well together and they all look so cute together, so put them on the same page. Next we move on to their first anniversary merch. So I just collected Young'un's photo cards and her like benefits, I think these were, and all of the units that you could get, and a group card. Yeah, I just collected whatever I could get. Next we move on to fan kits. So up here we have the 1st generation, 2nd generation, 3rd generation. I just collect my top 2 members for all of it. And then here is their 1st generation Japanese fan kit, which started last year. So this year I will be putting in the newest one here, and if they do another Japanese one, it will go here. Hopefully Young'un is in them. Crossing my fingers, because it'll be very annoying if she's not. Then we go on to season's greetings. This is kind of sad. I kind of got scammed for these. So let's not look at this year's season's greetings. Let's go look at the next one. I'm probably going to rebuy a lot of this stuff, but yeah, it's still disappointing. So this is the season's greetings from I think 2025. I decided to collect a 3rd member for this just to like fill out the page a bit more. So I collected Yujin as she was pretty cheap. And then here is my usual Hikaru and Young'un. The back looks so silly because like these cards here are like clear, so I have to put a white piece of paper behind them and it just looks like there's nothing in the page. Okay, here we have a mixture of light stick cards and kep1er cards. So these cards up here and here are all from, I think, kep1er Japan 2025. I don't know, it might have been an American kep1er, but it doesn't matter. I just thought they were absolutely adorable cards. I love how they're making a heart up here, even if it's like slightly off. And then my 2 favourites in their little hat things. And then here are cards from the 2nd version of their light stick. So I collected my top 2 as usual, and also Dion to complete the set. I love how they really went with the yellow and purple theme for this new light stick, because I've always thought of them as having a lot of yellow in their brand, but it was mostly just purple for a while. So I'm glad that they did that. And then here we get onto my like Japanese concert merch cards, which are huge, as you can see. Like, they are so big. But I really love the huge cards because they fit like perfectly in my pages. So these are from, I think, Fly High. This is from Fly By. And then these 2 are from kep1er Going. So I just have a nice little mixture here. And then these are all from the Beyond the Star fan con tour that they did, which is like a thing in Japan. They do a lot of random things in Japan. So I just basically collected like all of the cards I could. Don't remember what they all are, but they all look really pretty together. These 2 kind of stand out as being different, but they're from the same like tour. So yeah. Then we have a couple of blank pages where I need to put something that I'm setting up for. You'll see soon, I promise. And then I just have these random like pre-order benefits and merch cards that I don't have anywhere to put currently. So these are from a merch shop they did called Strange Market, which is so cute. I just currently don't have anywhere to put them. And then these are all random pre-order benefits. So we have Dion from Troubleshooter, Hikaru from Magic Hour, and Yeso from First Impact. Don't really know where I got all of them, but I do have them. And then here's some random Japanese merch thing that I have as well. I need to get Younguns for that because it's really cheap and I hate that I only have one member. Anyways, that is completely it now for my kep1er collection. I'm really happy with how much stuff I have in it. There's so much more considering I didn't even think they'd be a group after like 2023. So yeah, very happy with my collection. Next, we move on to another group which I've more recently started collecting, but I think I'm pretty happy with the progress I've made, especially with the progress I'm going to be making in my next storing video. So if you like Limelight, stay tuned. Now, obviously, let me just say there have been massive issues with this group and the company since they became Madein. I fully stand with and support Gan, and I am boycotting their company completely due to the awful things that happened to her. If you don't know, basically she was sexually assaulted by one of the higher-ups at the company. So we obviously don't want anything to do with that company anymore. However, I do love the girls and their group a lot, so I'm secondhand buying a lot of their older album cards and have been for a while before that whole situation started. If you want more information, go to this Instagram account. They have like a lot of helpful stuff on it and fundraisers and stuff. Okay, on a more fun note, here is my photocard collection. So my bias is Suhei and I collect all of her photocards from Limelight's debut until the first era of Madein, after which the boycott started. So here is her stuff from the pre-debut album Limelight. I currently have 6 cards, 5 are on this page and 1 is on this page because there was 10 cards in that album. So annoying. Anyway, I actually have a couple more coming, so that is really exciting, but for now I just have that. Then this is kind of a miscellaneous transition page between Limelight and their debut album Love and Happiness. So I'm going to put all of the ID cards from Love and Happiness here. Currently just have Suhei's. This is actually also another one of those ID cards, but flipped backwards because there's a different picture on the back. So I'm going to put, like, there's also 10 cards per version in this next album, which is annoying. So the 2 extras go up here. And then down here we have the 2 lenticular cards that come in each version. Here is where the actual album versions are. So here are all of the From version cards. I actually have a ton of these on the way. It's going to be almost filled in my next video, so I'm very excited about that. So here is From version, and then here is Prom version. Currently don't have any for this version, but I actually have a lot on the way, so I am very excited for you guys to see that. Next we move on to Madein, which is absolutely my favourite album of theirs. Madein is so good. Incredible song, and also just really pretty. They only did Nemo albums for this album, which is kind of weird, but it's cheap. So I am collecting OT3 for this because you get like the whole set of cards in each album. So I already have Gan and Suhei, and I'm hoping to get Miyu soon. I did try buy it, but the order got cancelled, which was annoying. But oh well, that's what's going on. And then we have the units from this album. So each of the albums had one of these group cards, but they all have different colours on the back. So I'm going to put the other 2 group cards here so that I have all the different coloured backs. And then there were also 6 unit cards. I have 2 right now, another 2 on the way, and so I'm just going to need 2 more. Then on to Last Dance. Here is the day version photo cards. So I collected all of her selfie cards, just need 1 more. But I think I just bought it. Hopefully that arrives soon. It's coming from Australia, so it might take a while. And then I just collected some random group and unit cards to fill in the corners from the day version. And then same for the night version, we have all of her album cards and then some random group and unit cards. Then on this page we have what I think they call the official cards, which are just like a set of concept cards that you get when buying the album. So I have the day version for all 3 of them, the night version for all 3 of them, and then here these are all stickers. You get stickers in some of the albums, so I just, you know, kept the ones I pulled and put them here. So that is it for Limelight. Now we move on to when 2 members of kep1er actually left kep1er and joined Limelight to become madein, as well as 2 extra members that they added in. And I honestly loved this group so much. They were so amazing, but then the whole issue with the company and one of the members came out and obviously can't support them anymore. However, I did already have a lot of stuff for their first era, so that's just what I've got here. So these are all the album photo cards from the group version of the album. How they did it was that there was a member for each version and then a group version, and you basically pulled a set of cards instead of random cards. So here is the set you got in the group version, and then also here are 2 pobs that I just like happen to have of Serena and Nagumi, the 2 new members. Actually, this isn't from the album, it's from like a fan con, but I just put it there because it like fit. Then we have the eldest members cards. This is Mashiro, who was in kep1er but moved to madein. I have her set of cards from her album. I did collect OT7 for this era, so yeah, that's what I've got. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we have a space here where Miyu should be, but I don't have her album yet. I do have it on the way though, so that's fun. She was the last member that I needed. Then we have my girly, my bias, Suhei. This is in age order, by the way. And so I have all of her photo book cards and also a couple of pre-order benefits because I love her very much. And I was willing to spend all my money on her. Look at her, she looks so angel-like, she's so pretty. I should probably mention that since the whole Gan situation, Yeso and Suhei have also left the group. So she is no longer in the group, but I love her so much. And then we have Yeso. Here's her photo book version. And then we have Gan, who is like my other bias. And I also have 2 pobs of hers as well as her photo book version stuff. Then Serena, Nagumi, and that is it for the actual like album versions. I love how they had different colours for all of them. It's such a shame what happened with the company and stuff. Then we have their FanCon stuff, which is the last stuff I ever got to collect for them. So here is just an array of stuff that I got from that. Okay, that is all for Limelight and madein. I love them very much and I'm so glad that I got to like have the time with them that I did, and I will always support them in the future. Okay, now on to random miscellaneous stuff that I have in the back of this binder. So as you can see, first is ateez. I have like 1 Outlaw album and some older albums. ateez used to be an old group of mine and I still love them very much, but they just have way too many photo cards. I don't want to properly collect them. As you can probably see up here, my bias is Uyong, but it actually used to be Yosung, which is why I have quite a few of his cards here. I still love Yosung a lot, obviously, he's awesome, but yeah, that's all the like random ateez cards that I have. They're so cute. Next we are on to Twice, which I just collect random cards for them again. My bias is, it's probably Jiho, but I just loved how Momo looked so much in Formula of Love that I have quite a few of her cards for it. So yeah, here's just a random mix of Twice cards that I have. I need to put fillers in this, wow. I really want to collect more of these IDs because in general I love ID cards, but that's just what I have for now. And then we have enhypen, which I just have this like miscellaneous page of stuff that I got from an album of theirs, which I actually won in a giveaway. I actually watched Island when it was airing and was a pre-debut stan of enhypen, but I just never got into like collecting them. So yeah, that's what I have. And then I have these 2 random cards from ZB1 of Kunuk because, yeah, of course I do. So yeah, that is all I have in this binder. Oh my god, I almost broke it. That's all I have for this. And that is everything in all of my A4 binders. So now let's move on to my A5. So here we are. We're going to start off with my A5 wide binders, which are the ones that have 6 pockets inside on each page rather than 4. I apologize for the horrible lighting we've got going on here, like these shadows, awful. Basically I'm filming this the day after the last clip and it's like really dark outside. It's literally 11 AM, but it's been storming and raining and all kinds of stuff in this country, so it's really dark. Anyways, onto my first A5 wide binder, we have Rescene. Now this is a group that I've picked up relatively recently. I'm not sure if they were in my last year's video, but we start off with these IDs from their debut album. I love ID cards, so I collect all of theirs OT5, and I collect Live, as you can see. So here is debut era, a mixture of like random little cards from debut and syndrome era. And then here's Syndrome, love how this all goes together. And then the OT5 ID set from Glow Up. And here is my Glow Up collection, just one more space to fill. This is when we started getting like quite a lot of photocards from this group. I hopefully have these 2 last units I need on the way, so that's exciting. And then yeah, they did all these like non-random unit cards, that was fun. Then on to Dearest. Hopefully I can be done with this soon. I really want to finish this era quickly. I love the blue colour on the back of the dewy version, it's really nice. And then Dearest Pobs. I decided to collect some Zena for this as well, and also some Minami, just because I was already buying enough albums, I might as well, you know, get some Pobs with it. Then we move on to my setup for Lip Balm. Currently don't have anything in here yet, but everything is set up and I do have quite a bit on the way. And then here is my like miscellaneous merch. So this is their light stick and this is their fan kit. And that's it for rescene. Wow, these A5 binders are a lot quicker to go through than the A4 ones. Okay, so next let's go into my other A5 wide binder, which is CSR. Here's my CSR binder. For this, I collect 3 members, my top 3, Shihyun, Yuna, and Yeham. And in the future, I will also be collecting the new kind of sub-unit that Yeham and Yuna seem to have made, called RSC. So yeah, definitely going to be doing stuff for them as well. So first we start off with their debut era, Sequence 7272. So here are 2 of the photocard versions. Here's the other one. And then down here we have their next album, Sequence 17, and there was only 1 photocard set for that, I assume because it was like a single. And then onto Delight, the orangest album you've ever seen. And here are some pre-order benefits. These 2 are from Delight, and this one is from the next era on this page. However you pronounce that, I'm gonna call it Blue Hour. So I have a lot less progress on this era than the others, as you can see, because it's kind of hard to buy stuff, but I'm still working on it, I promise you. And that is all I have in my CSR collection. And this is where I also keep my like empty pages. But yeah, I'm honestly really proud of how my CSR collection is going. Like, the fact that I managed to make so much progress on like these first eras is absolutely awesome. So yeah, that's all I've got for them. Now let's go on to a group that is in a smaller binder but has a bigger collection, Newjeans. So here is my Newjeans collection. I've only collected up to Get Up era for obvious boycott reasons. So first of all, here is their debut era. I collect both Minji and Heiin. So here are the cards from the group album version, and here is Heiin's stuff. They're all kind of mixed up. I haven't separated them into like photo book version and Weverse version because that would have taken ages. And then onto Minji's. I originally collected just Heiin and then I started collecting Minji as well. Yeah, here I just tried to like put the same or similar concepts together. And then these are the cards from the bag version of the album, which I am very glad I bought because it's kind of hard to get nowadays. I got the white one and I'm so glad that I did. And then here we have the IDs that you got in the photo book versions and this QR card that you get in the Weverse version. Then we move on to OMG, which is their next album. Once again, this is like the group version cards. I love the color scheme and stuff in this album and all the, like the different fonts and stuff on the back here. I really like this album. Oh, these outfits, iconic. Oh my god, you know if you were there. Newjeans were absolutely dominating in this era. I really miss them with all the stuff that's going on nowadays. But yeah, I love looking through here to like remember and stuff. And then these are both, I think, Weverse Pobs on the same page as these like QR cards to fill the space. Oh yeah, all these QR cards are actually different, but it's literally just the fonts. I know. Then we go on to Get Up era. We have this little Pob thing, which I'm not sure if it's from OMG or Get Up, but I put it on this page with the QR cards from Get Up. Then we move on to, as usual, the group card stuff. And Heiin, I love that purple concept. Oh, the super shy outfits. Oh my god. Oh, it's coming all back to me now. And then these 2, I think one of them is like from an album version and one of them's a Pob. And some of these cards are like Pobs too, like this one is. I was gonna put both Pobs on this page, but like one of the Pobs fits so nicely into one of these spreads, so I put an album card here. And then Minji. Yeah, this one here is the Pob that I was talking about. And then I think this is the Powerpuff Girls version. Can't remember completely, this was a little while ago, but I know it was some kind of group version. I loved that collab they did with the Powerpuff Girls, it was so cool. But yeah, that's everything I have for newjeans album cards. Managed to fit my collection perfectly in one binder. Well, I say perfectly, this is like a little too full, but I'm happy with it. Now let's go on to the merchandise that I have got for them. So this is like a smaller binder, and first up we've got newjeans merchandise. So these are all season's greetings from their first year as a group, and they're all like playing card themed, which is really cute. So I just got Minji and Haynes cards. And then here we have two stickers. I can't remember what they're from, if they're from an album or a merch thing, I don't know, but they're really cute. And then here we have the light stick cards for both my biases and their fan kit cards. So cute. I love how well they go together on the back as well. And then here is from a merch drop. Can't remember what it was called, but it had some really cute cards. It was actually the first group order I ever did for this set. And then some other merch cards here. Yeah, it's been a little while. I don't completely remember what all the merch is for. But yeah, I love the backs on this one. I think those are like really cute. Okay, that is it for newjeans. Now we go on to some kind of like miscellaneous girl group stuff. So here we have an OT7 set of Purple Kiss cards that are not official cards. They're fan-made ones from a cup sleeve event I went to like celebrate Purple Kiss and their legacy when it was announced that they were disbanding. So I thought that was just a really cute thing for the fans to do, so I decided to put them in my binder. You can't see on the screen, but they're also really holographic and it's really cool. And then here we have miscellaneous girl group cards. So we have two IVE cards up here from, I can't remember what the album's called, but the title track's called Rebel Heart. Got two cards from that. And then I have this Yerin card from her solo and Yuju card from gfriend. And then on this page, I just have the three S cards that I have. So I have a Dahyun, who is my bias, a really pretty Hyerim, and then finally this Assemble 24mm T-Pop for Dahyun. So I'm a really big fan of S's music, especially like Invincible and Girls Capitalism, so I just have a few cards from eras that I enjoyed. You can't steal my objects, I scanned them when I got them. And also, I think we're kind of boycotting those at the moment, I don't know. I don't buy a lot of S stuff, so I'm just leaving it alone. But yeah, that is that binder all done. Now let's move on to Purple Kiss. So here is Purple Kiss. I currently collect two members, which are Che and Yuki, and I have quite a few more Che cards than I do for Yuki because I like initially started collecting her and then added in Yuki as a second member. I also have quite a few Purple Kiss cards ready to store in my next video, so that's very exciting. So first of all we have Into Violet, which I'm almost done with. This card is like weirdly difficult to find. Like it's not, but I don't see it that often. So yeah. And then onto Hide and Seek. I basically, because there were 4 cards per member, I did it so that you had all cards of one member on a 4-pocket page. So here is all of Che's. I absolutely love this hairstyle that she had this era. And then Yuki's. I have a couple of these ready to store soon. And then onto Mem. This is probably the era that I have the least stuff from because I didn't pull any of my biases in them. I just had to like trade for them. But I do have most of them on the way now actually. And then we move on to Geeky Land. So the way I decided to set this up is that I put all of Che's Digipack cards here. And then we have the photo book cards from Che and Yuki as like a crossover or like a transition, I guess, into Yuki's Digipack cards. Don't have any of these yet. Don't know when I'm gonna get any either because they're kind of difficult. Yeah, onto Cabin Fever. I've made quite a lot of progress with this recently, but a lot of it is getting other cards so that I could like trade them for these members. But this is what I've got going on so far. I love this card so much. This card is actually what made me collect Yuki in the first place, because originally I wasn't going to, but then I pulled this in an album and went, oh, I've got to collect her, she's gorgeous. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then this page, we start going into Festa era. So here are their like Polaroid cards, which I don't know why they're shorter than normal cards, that's kind of weird. But yeah, this era was I think the latest era when I started collecting them. So I started collecting both of them from the start, just need one last card for Festa. I feel like I don't ever see that card about though. And then here's where we start getting into BXX, which was my first comeback while like standing them, so that was really fun. Oh, I guess I was a fan during Festa, like I was actively listening to their music and keeping up with new releases, but I wasn't collecting them at that point. And then we have these gorgeous pobs in these outfits, absolutely love them. And then onto Headway, which is one of my favourite eras of theirs. It is so good. On My Bike is an incredible song. And all these cards are really, really good. Oh yeah, this is... So there was normally 3 unit cards, but since I had a full pocket page, I will just double collect one of them. I do this for a few eras. And then here are the pobs. And then onto I Miss My era, which I'm still trying to trade for stuff because I only got my albums recently. So this one I actually do have though. But I am still looking for both of the Che poker cards if anyone has them. I have some equivalents on my Instagram. And then we have the units again with the double here. And then these QR cards have all of these now, yay! And here are my pobs. Finally, onto their latest era, we have R Now, and I actually have every single card from this era on the way now, which is so exciting. So I have my last Yuki, and then over here, I'm actually going to collect OT6 because it is their last era. So here is my spread for all the other 4 members. And then over here, we have pobs, so I have 2 on hand now and 2 on the way. And then at the back here, I just have some like larger inclusions that would still fit in this small binder. So we have these like big photo cards from BXX and these Polaroids from Headway. I really love these Polaroids. I love like the devil horns. So yeah, that is my entire Purple Kiss collection, which it feels so weird to say that these are like all the eras they're ever gonna have. Like my collection's never gonna get bigger than this unless I collect more members. That's so sad. But yeah, that was Purple Kiss. Now we're going to move on to ahof. So here is my ahof collection. I collect both Woongi and Juwon. I've been a fan of Woongi for like years before, and I was following through this whole survival show. So I was just going to collect him, and then I was watching the show and I absolutely loved Juwon as well, so now I collect both of them. So here are all of my cards for debut era. I love the backs of these, and I do have these last 2 on the way to complete my debut era collection. Yeah, I love how the oranges and blues like go so well together on that page. Have some units and QR stuff. And then we have all the rest of the members because this came in like an OT9 set, so put them all here. And then that is it for debut era. This is the next era, which I don't have on hand yet. I'm still waiting for my group order manager to send me it, but that is my setup. Then we go on to Universe League, which is the survival show they were made from. And they did like a Nemo album for songs from that show. So I have all of my pulls from that here, and a few of these I either traded or bought, but mostly pulls. So like I had to go buy Woongi, you know, because I wanted him and Juwon. And then the other cards from it, like little, they're kind of like ID pictures, but they're big. Interesting. And then I have a few Woongi cards from his time in TO1 because I was a fan of him during this era. But I was a fan of him, not TO1. No offense to TO1, they're great. But yeah, I just have a random couple of cards that I found in places. And this little circle card. I love his signature. He's got such a cute signature. But yeah, that is everything I have for ahof, Woongi and Universe League. So now let's move on to our final binder, which is basically just miscellaneous stuff. So here is the miscellaneous binder. First of all, we have a soloist who I'm a big fan of. She was on Girls Planet 999, a show which I was a fan of, and then went on to stan kep1er. She didn't make it to the group, but I thought she was like incredibly talented and I really liked her. So this is hyerim. You probably haven't heard of her, but she did this little, it was like a yearly calendar type thing that came with photocards, but not a season's greetings. It was like a Nemo album. I don't know, but it was cute and I bought it. And she looks adorable. These are actually holo cards as well, but you can't see. But yeah, it was really, really cute. So that's all I have for her because she doesn't have any like physical albums or anything, but she does have some banger songs, so please go stream those. And then we have a mixture of like random fan-made Stray Kids cards because I just thought they were really cute. So we have some Linos, some duos from the Two Kids Song series they did, and then just some other like Christmassy ones, and these ones from Jisung's adorable Instagram post that he did, and then this random Changbin, and then some hand-drawn ones by a fan, which were just so cute. I had to keep them. I got them as freebies. And then finally, out of everything, we have my 50/50 collection. Rest in peace. Oh my god. So this is only old 50/50. This is not the new lineup. This is only Sena, Kina, Shio, Aran. It's only these four, and I do not support the new group or the company in general. I support A-Bloom. Anyway, I did collect them for their debut and Cupid era, and I absolutely loved them. They were one of my old groups until everything went down. So here is my collection. I have OT4 of the IDs from their debut era, and then I collected both Shio and Sena. So this is my collection. There's not like specific versions because they all came from one photo book version. And then here, these are all K-Town pobs from Cupid era. So I got like an OT4 set. And then here is my Cupid collection. I love this card of Shio so much. I really, really love 50/50 and all their cards and stuff. Apart from this, Sena, I love you so much. And you're so cute and talented and adorable. But whatever. Okay, let's skip past that. And then, oh god, I miss them so much. And then here is like a lot of inclusions from them. So here are like the 4 cuts you got in their Cupid era. All of these are Cupid, I think. And then some like postcards, which I pulled like 7 of the same one. And so they're all in here. And then randomly, I have these kep1er photo cards that were too big to fit in a normal binder. So they went here. Bit of a random way to end this video, but yeah, that is my entire K-pop photo card collection. So that is the end of today's video, or should I say this year's video. I'm so thankful to every single person who chose to watch all the way through to the end, because wow. Or even if you just chose to watch a tiny bit of it, that still means so much to me. My collection and my channel mean the world to me. I've loved collecting for years, built this whole thing up over quite a few years of collecting, and it makes me so happy that other people want to see it and then I can share this with them. 2025 was a great year for me, like collection wise and with my videos, and so I really hope that 2026 can be just as good, if not better. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye!